Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo's fast-paced environment and overwork culture have created a mental health crisis in the city. Japan has one of the highest suicide rates in the world, with over 20,000 deaths annually. A major contributing factor is the country's deep-rooted work culture, where employees often work 12-hour days and rarely take vacation. This relentless drive has been linked to a phenomenon known as karoshi, or death by overwork. Tokyo is so fast-paced, the only place you'll find a quiet moment is in the line at the train station. And even then, you're still waiting for the next train that's late. Social isolation is another significant issue in Tokyo, where many residents report feeling lonely despite being in a city of over 13 million. Mental health support remains insufficient, with only one psychiatrist for every 10,000 people in Japan. The pressure to succeed, combined with long work hours and a lack of social connections, makes Tokyo one of the most mentally stressed cities in the world. Before we dive into the next city, please like the video and subscribe. Your support helps us create more content like this. Thank you. Moscow, Russia. Moscow's mental health issues are largely tied to the city's high alcoholism rates and harsh winters. Alcohol-related deaths in Russia account for over 30% of all deaths, and Moscow has some of the highest suicide rates in Europe, with around 21.3 suicides per 100,000 people. The long, dark winters further exacerbate feelings of isolation and depression, particularly during the long months of cold weather. The pressure to succeed in the capital is immense, with many residents working long hours to make ends meet in a city that has a stark divide between the wealthy and the poor. While Moscow is the economic heart of Russia, the emotional and psychological cost of living there can be overwhelming, making it a city where many residents struggle with mental health challenges. Russian women are so beautiful that even the weather wants to impress them. Moscow's winters are cold enough to freeze your heart, but somehow they still manage to make it melt. Cairo, Egypt. The last time I visited this place with my girlfriend, we unfortunately had a really tough experience. She was harassed, scammed, and treated badly by some locals. Cairo, home to over 9 million people, is one of the most populous cities in the world. Despite its historical importance, Cairo is plagued by severe air pollution, overcrowding, and poverty. These environmental stressors play a major role in the high rates of anxiety and depression reported in the city. The World Health Organization ranks Egypt's air pollution among the worst globally, with particulate matter levels that exceed safe limits by over 10 times. Economic instability, particularly among the youth, is another key factor contributing to mental health struggles. With youth unemployment at 25%, many young people face a future filled with uncertainty and limited opportunities. The stress of navigating a polluted, overpopulated, and economically strained city contributes to Cairo's place as one of the most depressed cities in the world. New York City, USA. New York City, often seen as a city of endless opportunity, is also one where many people struggle with mental health issues. In fact, 1 in 5 New Yorkers experience mental illness, with depression being one of the most common diagnoses. The high cost of living, especially in housing, creates financial stress for many residents. According to a 2019 survey by the American Psychological Association, 57% of New Yorkers report feeling stressed on a daily basis. Despite its image as a bustling metropolis, New York can be emotionally isolating. The fast-paced lifestyle, competitive job market, and crowded streets often leave people feeling disconnected. The pressure to succeed in the world's financial capital takes a toll on mental health, making NYC a city where stress and anxiety run high. São Paulo, Brazil. São Paulo is Brazil's largest city, but it's also a city of extremes, with extreme wealth and extreme poverty coexisting in close proximity. São Paulo has one of the highest inequality rates in the world, with over 20% of the population living in poverty. This economic disparity contributes to widespread mental health issues, particularly in the favelas, where residents face constant challenges in terms of crime, unemployment, and lack of basic services. The city's chronic traffic congestion and pollution further exacerbate stress levels. São Paulo is often ranked among the world's most polluted cities, with air quality consistently falling below recommended levels. The combination of economic strain, environmental issues, and social unrest makes São Paulo a city where many of its residents battle depression and anxiety. Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. This is the place I always wanted to visit, but I don't know for what reason. So, yes, Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia, is one of the fastest-growing cities in Africa. However, rapid urbanization, high levels of poverty, and political instability have created a challenging environment for its residents. Nearly 25% of the population lives below the poverty line, and unemployment rates are high, contributing to feelings of hopelessness and stress. The city is also dealing with significant environmental challenges, including air pollution and a lack of infrastructure. While it's a hub for diplomacy in Africa, many residents struggle to access basic services like healthcare and education. These difficulties contribute to rising rates of mental health issues, particularly depression and anxiety. Additionally, with limited mental health resources and stigma surrounding mental health, many people in Addis Ababa are left to navigate these struggles alone. Beirut, Lebanon. Beirut, Lebanon's capital, has faced numerous challenges over the years, including political instability, war, and economic collapse. The 2020 Beirut port explosion, which killed over 200 people and injured thousands, was a tragic reminder of the city's vulnerability. The country's ongoing economic crisis has deepened feelings of hopelessness, with the Lebanese pound losing 90% of its value in recent years. The Lebanese Ministry of Public Health reports a sharp rise in depression, anxiety, and PTSD following the blast. With youth unemployment around 40%, many young people in Beirut feel uncertain about their future. The compounded stress of an unstable economy, a lack of social services, and the city's damaged infrastructure has created a mental health crisis that continues to affect residents. London, United Kingdom. London, known for its financial power and cultural significance, also has one of the highest rates of mental health issues in Europe. Around 1 in 4 Londoners report experiencing some form of mental illness annually, with depression being the most common. The city's high cost of living, particularly in housing, is a major stressor for many. Average rent for a one-bedroom apartment is around £1,700 per month, putting significant financial pressure on residents. Loneliness is another issue that affects many people in London, with 1 in 10 people reporting chronic loneliness. Despite being one of the world's most diverse cities, London can feel isolating for many of its residents. The constant rush of the city, coupled with financial strain, contributes to the city's high levels of depression. Mexico City, Mexico. Mexico City is one of the largest cities in the world, with a population of over 21 million. The city struggles with extreme air pollution, traffic congestion, and social inequality. According to the World Health Organization, Mexico City's air pollution exceeds safe limits by 10 times, which has significant health implications. High levels of stress and anxiety are common due to the constant noise and overcrowding. The city's economic disparity is another factor contributing to mental health struggles. While some residents enjoy wealth and access to services, many others live in poverty. Nearly 30% of Mexico City's population experiences symptoms of depression, according to the National Institute of Psychiatry. The lack of adequate mental health resources only adds to the difficulty of coping with these issues. Paris, France. Paris is often seen as a cultural haven and romance hub, but it's also a city where depression rates are rising. The French capital has one of the highest suicide rates in Europe, with approximately 13.6 suicides per 100,000 people annually. High living costs, particularly in housing, contribute to stress, especially among young people trying to make a life in the city. The city's long, gray winters also exacerbate depression. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is common among Parisians, with many reporting feelings of sadness and lethargy during the colder months. Despite the allure of the city, Paris can be an emotionally draining place for many residents, particularly those struggling to make ends meet. Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, faces a host of challenges that contribute to depression and mental health struggles. The city is plagued by extreme poverty, with over 70% of the population living in slums. Lack of access to healthcare, education, and basic services further compounds these issues. The political instability in the country also creates an atmosphere of uncertainty and anxiety. Mental health care in Kinshasa is almost non-existent, with few trained professionals available to support the population. According to the WHO, the DRC has one of the lowest rates of mental health service provision in Africa, leaving residents to cope with mental health challenges on their own. The lack of resources and the overwhelming poverty in the city make Kinshasa one of the most depressed cities on the continent. Jakarta, Indonesia. Jakarta, Indonesia's capital, faces numerous environmental and social challenges that contribute to depression. With a population of over 10 million people, Jakarta is one of the most congested cities in the world, with traffic jams that can last for hours. The city's high levels of air pollution also have serious health implications, contributing to physical and mental stress. Economic inequality is another key factor in Jakarta's mental health struggles. While some residents live in luxury, many others live in poverty. A 2019 report from the Indonesian Ministry of Health found that nearly 30% of Jakarta's population experiences symptoms of depression. The overwhelming pace of life, combined with environmental stressors and economic hardship, makes Jakarta a city where mental health is a major concern. Delhi, India. Delhi, India's capital, is one of the most polluted cities in the world, with air pollution levels far exceeding safe limits. The city's population of over 20 million is often exposed to high levels of toxic air, which has been linked to a range of health issues, including mental health problems. The constant noise and overcrowding further exacerbate feelings of stress and anxiety. Economic disparity in Delhi is also significant, with large sections of the population living in poverty. A 2019 report by the Indian government found that over 40% of Delhi's residents experience some form of mental health issue, with depression being the most common. Lack of access to mental health resources only makes it harder for people to cope with these challenges. Lagos, Nigeria's largest city, is a place of opportunity but also one of significant mental health challenges. Overcrowding, traffic, and pollution create a stressful environment for many residents. The high crime rate and economic disparity also contribute to feelings of anxiety and hopelessness. Lagos has one of the highest rates of depression in Africa, with over 40% of the population experiencing mental health issues. The mental health system in Lagos is underfunded, with only a few mental health professionals serving millions of people. Poverty, crime, and a lack of social services create an atmosphere of constant pressure, making it hard for many to maintain their well-being. Nairobi, Kenya. Nairobi, Kenya's capital, is a city of contrasts. On one hand, it's a hub of business and development, but on the other hand, it struggles with issues of poverty, inequality, and pollution. Over 60% of Nairobi's population lives in informal settlements, where access to basic services is limited. Economic hardship, combined with rapid urbanization, has led to a rise in mental health issues. A 2018 report by the Kenyan Ministry of Health found that 1 in 4 Nairobi residents report experiencing depression, with young people and women being the most affected. Mental health services are scarce, and social stigma around mental health issues makes it even harder for people to seek help. Nairobi's social and environmental challenges create a city where many people struggle to maintain their mental health.